Well, I have recorded and deleted, and at some point I felt like I'm too tired. There is no need. I should just, postpone the episode till next week. But then I remember that one of the reasons for starting this podcast is the fact that I want to share how I feel with people. It's not about perfection. It's also about just genuinely helping as many of us that are still under construction. And this kind of takes me back to some weeks ago, I think in January. Yeah, January thereabout, on my way to work. And I was feeling so overwhelmed and I cried. I cried from work down to the house. And I just kept sobbing and just really, really tired. I was genuinely tired. I was drained. I was emotionally exhausted. My faith was shaking. Like, it just was not the usual hyper Felicia. And one of the things that just came was how many times people have used situations to mock me because I'm waiting on God for one thing or the other. And they just use that situation to mock or make us feel smaller than we are. And recording this right now, I can tell you that, well, it's gonna be good. I'm not saying all of this to get sympathy or anything. It's to just show you that is listening to me that these feelings, they are real, and we often feel unseen, unappreciated, misunderstood, or just genuinely tired of trying. And if I am being honest with you right now, some days actually feel like every other person is making progress. You're left behind. You're stuck in the struggle. You're asking yourself when it's going to make sense, and it's just a lot. It's just a lot. Hello there. Welcome to Under Construction Podcast. I am Lily, and here we talk about life, faith, growth, and real emotions, even the ones that we try to hide. Now, it's hard to admit that you're at your low, and for most of us, right, especially those of us that have mastered the act of covering up, it is really hard because you feel like you're failing, it feels like you're giving up, and you have to play scenarios where people have laughed at you, laughed at your struggle. People use your situation to mock you, and it feels like the whispering and the talk wouldn't stop. Yes, it hurts because it's personal, because it is your story, it is your life, and some people are using it as a form of entertainment. But one of the things I'm learning is that my low doesn't actually define me. My struggle is not like a definition of who I am. What defines me is how I respond when I'm at my lowest. And the truth is, I will not talk to you and say, oh, I'm usually 100% at my lowest. I am blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I completely blank out. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to be left alone. Like, just leave me alone. I just want to day my day and not talk to anybody. And there are some days where the only thing I can do is just breathe, go again, and just remind myself that this season is not permanent. Recall scriptures. One of the anchor scriptures that I have always, held on to is Romans 8:28. For I know that all things work together for good for them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And also from the book of Isaiah, where it says that those that wait upon their Lord. Now, I read some of these scriptures over and over again. Sometimes I feel strengthened, other times I don't. Now, the truth is, when we feel small, our story still matters. Even when people, mock us, our lives is still, what's more than their words. And maybe you're also in that space right now. Maybe this week you have been crying in the secret, in the car, in your room, in your air, wondering if things will get better. Well, I just want you to know something, that it's okay to feel low. You're expecting me to say it's going to get better. No, it's okay to actually be tired. It's okay to grieve what you thought, would be versus what it is now, okay? But here it is that regardless, you need to keep moving forward in the middle of it. We don't need to be fixed to keep working. You don't need to be ready to take the next step. You just need to keep showing yourself that you would do better and show up, even if it is small, messy steps, okay? So these are some of the things that I have done over time and I feel like will also be of help to you. One is to, first of all, give yourself permission to feel, cry, rest, acknowledge the emotions. And doing that doesn't mean that you're weak, doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing. It just shows that you're human and you actually do feel all of these things. Now, after feeling, after crying, don't be so don't allow yourself to take your time. Don't allow yourself to turn those emotions and then you now, after feeling them, you now bury them, feel them, go through every single thing that you need to go through at every season, no matter the number of times. Okay. Now the next thing is to probably take a work or journal or send a message to someone that their love counts to you. And also, one of the things that I've learned today is to reflect. I try to check what have I learned and not just what is wrong. And as much as possible, talk to people that you trust, your circle, that will be able to encourage you and not necessarily bully you out of how you're feeling, but they work with you in love. Probably on one of the episodes, we'll talk about being bullied out of how we actually do feel, because that is genuinely a topic. Let's not dive into that today. We'll talk about it some other time. And the last I will say to you is trust the process. Like I always say, that growth is messy, is silent and often invisible, but it doesn't mean it is not happening. It is happening. Okay? Remember, even in your low, you're still under construction, still becoming, still enough. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If this episode spoke to you, or you know someone that is going through tough times but they are pulling up that smiling face and they don't want to talk about it, you can send this as a token of your love to them and just make sure that they are seen. You can also just leave your thought, leave a comment if you're showing up for yourself today. Thank you so much for listening to Under Construction podcast, and always remember, we are still under construction. Even at our lowest, we are still becoming. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next week, Sunday. Remember, like I said, to like, subscribe, and leave a comment for me, and also share with someone. See you on the other side.